No, I mean everything else but the sheet. I'm like,
Oh, I didn't see one, so I figured we didn't have one.
No, it's there.
Yeah, continue looking.
it's the bridge contract.
Oh, really? Oh, they're,
Yeah, and hiring a custodian.
you got it right there?
Well, no, I don't have the sheet. I'm just reading you what I got. And that's all that's in here, as far as I see.
For the bridge contract, it says the commissioner sits at that table. Is the prosecutor or HR, or is it just?
Yeah, we didn't.
See it, eh?
We don't do any negotiating.
Oh, I just found out it's November 28th. It's got tax.
What's that?
But, you have to sign off on these.
I'm screwed. What?
What?
Nothing. It's at the bottom I was asking for.
Oh, Jesus.
I canceled.
Forget it. I don't wanna know.
Trip to Cabo San Lucas because you were gonna be off duty.
Yeah, well,
Oh, that's why you're grumpy too.
Employees that are
that's not my problem.
this one for all wages.
I was jealous you're going on vacation, I wasn't.
You better call
Is she coming back?
I've been to
Yeah,
San
she's just
Diego
coming back to give me the
10
sheet.
I like
Which,
Cabo.
if you go straight across from
Want me to go?
Cabo
If you
San
want.
You
Diego,
can start, I mean,
it's right there, the exact same weather.
Yeah, I love Cabo. And you go up a little bit to the ponds, a little bit north there.
We are live, gentlemen, so, okay. Good evening and welcome to Lorain County Board of Commissioners. It's Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. It's 5 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Moore,
Here.
Commissioner Riddell,
Here.
Commissioner Hung.
Here.
We have a quorum. Resolutions number 1, investments.
These are investments for tonight. I move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 2, appropriations.
I move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 3, transfers.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 4, advances, repayments. There were none. Number 5, requisitions.
We have 4 pages. It's page 1 of 4. Page 2 of 4, please. Page 3 of 4. And page 4 of 4. And I move to approve the 4 pages of requisitions.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 6, travel.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 7, bills.
We have 3 pages of bills tonight. This is page 1. Page 2, please. Page 3. And I move to approve pages 1 through 3 of the bills.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 8, commissioners may recess an executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
So we have just 2 items on the personnel summary sheet, I take it? You got the original? Okay. I move to approve the personnel summary sheet.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number B, public comment on agenda items.
No, nothing on the agenda.
No.
Any old business?
Is there any old business? Board business. Number 9, approve and waive the reading of the County Commissioners meeting minutes of September 19th and 22nd.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
yes,
Under sanitary engineer, instruct the clerk to advertise for bids for the Grove Avenue water line replacement project in Sheffield Township. Estimate for the project is $416,245, and funding will be paid from the Q Construction account. Notice to be in the Chronicle on October 16th and 23rd. Open at 2 p.m. on November 9th. Work consists of replacing the existing 6-inch water line with 1,741 linear feet of 8-inch PVC, along with the new hydrants and service connections.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
yes,
Under Transit, 11, authorize Lorain County Transit to participate in ODOT Cooperative Purchase Program in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 5513.01B.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
yes,
Under Workforce Development Agency, 12, authorize said payments to be made for various programming and administrative costs that are available through WIA and TANF funding for Lorain County Workforce Development. WIA Program 23 funds available for a 2-year period retroactive from July 1st of 23 through June 30th of 25 for WIA Adult Dislocated Youth Funds Account 2300 and TANF Federal Year 22 or Fiscal Year 22 funds available for a 1-year period retroactive from October 1st of 23 through September 30th of 24 for CCMEP TANF Funds Account 2301.
So moved.
second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
yes,
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Under Children's Services, 13, authorize and rescind various personnel utilizing the agency's MasterCard for the year 2023 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code and their policy.
So moved.
second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
yes,
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Under TB Clinic, 14, designated the Communicable Disease Control Program operated by Lorain County Public Health as the County Tuberculosis Control Unit for Lorain County, Ohio, pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 339.72, effective January 1st of 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Yes. Casey, maybe I'm throwing you a loop here. I should have talked to you about this ahead of time. How much money's in that account right now? Wasn't it close to $1 million?
Yes, but if you give me 60 seconds, I can.
Well, then
find
while
it.
you're looking that up, then I'll ask the assistant prosecutor in regards to, since it's no longer going to be costing the taxpayers that much money to be managing this, we had a discussion earlier this year in how to, I don't want to use the word table, this levy every year, but I think once a year we have to come back and visit. You know, would you like to explain what we discussed earlier in the year?
During the course of a levy that has been approved, every year, the authority that collects the levy needs to certify to the auditor that they either want it collected in whole, can be bypassed, or collect a smaller amount. So that happens, and Casey probably knows the date, but that happens on a regular basis. So if the board chooses not to forego collection on that levy, they can do so on an annual basis.
That's how you do it, to forego the
Forego
collection, right?
Correct.
And in order, what, you don't have the date though when we have to do that
Off
by?
the top of my head, I don't, but
Is
I can
that
find
maybe
it.
during the budget discussions or budget hearings?
I think it's after, but I can find the date and let you know.
Okay,
But
if you could-
Yeah, it's a yearly thing.
Okay, because what we're voting on today is really a huge cost savings, I believe. Correct? I'm looking at you guys because this has been in talks for some time this year.
Yeah, so to circle back and hit your first question, currently we have about $1.7 million in there. We have some outstanding expenses still to pay the contractor throughout the end of the year, but
Right.
we're still looking at, we'll end the year with about $1.5 million.
And I believe it, with the health department's going to be taking this over, the whole purpose of this was to save us money, correct? And allow them to handle. I guess Karen's hopping on here.
Yes, that is the purpose, is to save some funds. However, we do have to keep funds in the account to cover the expenses of treatment. for
Correct.
TB.
Yeah, we're currently paying a contractor approximately $360,000 a year, though.
Yeah, but for like 6 cases a year, right?
Correct.
Okay, so, after talking to Dr. Adams about this, and, you know, if we have to come back and revisit this, we can always not reimpose, but not forego it. So the bottom line is, maybe if we could go on for maybe 10 years. But every year, each board's gonna have to remember to either forego, or this will be a tax on their property taxes every year, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Until the levy expires,
To the levy, well, this is a
continuing.
continuing, so, okay. So I will look forward to that debate whenever we get the date in regards to when we can forego this levy. Since I know it's 2 lines, but I think this is a very big thing for the county right now. I think it's a good thing. I think with our Lorain County Health Department taking this over, it's gonna save a lot of money, and it's gonna be hopefully at least a tax reduction for some time, maybe. We did an analysis, and I believe it was for 10 years, because when we did this, I think in 21, we put it on the ballot for a tax reduction. That was in 21, I believe we did that in the fall. And now it's looked like we even found as a board, we found a better way to actually provide these services even more affordable, so this is a big deal, I believe, you know. I know it's 2 lines, but it's really a better way, I believe, more efficient way for us to handle this, so. Thank you.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Public comment. Aiden Fogel.
Aiden Fogel, Sheffield Lake. So, first of all, I'd like to implore anyone watching this to get out and vote early and vote no for issue 20, the 7 districts evil plan. This is the perfect opportunity for all the first responders whose safety has been compromised by these 2 tyrants, along with the UAW Job and Family Services workers who, and I'm quoting Jeff Riddell here, should work with what they have for now and were denied the opportunity for possible cardiac rehab. This is their opportunity to send a message and put this pipe dream to sleep for good. Anyone interested in helping out or would like a yard sign or a ride to the BOE for early voting can reach out to Citizens Opposed to Issue 20 on Facebook or email at issue20sayno@gmail.com. Second, what is the status of the $2 million that made its way to yet another one of your campaign donors, Dr. Jarmasek, the owner of Skylift, through another campaign donor, Mayor Jack Bradley, to develop the go-kart track in Lorain that now looks like it might not be built. I'd also like the record to reflect that there were campaign donations to Mayor Jack Bradley from at least one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike DiCarlo. Good evening. Oh, I'm sorry, you actually wanted to speak on item number 11.
It's all right. Michael DiCarlo.
That's my
Vermillion,
fault,
Ohio.
I'm sorry.
It's really easy. The 11 one was just, hey, can you get when we do the transit stuff, can you get them to coordinate with Erie County Transit? Because I got Sandusky Transit at the end of my street trying to take me to Sandusky when I want to go to Lorain.
Oh, okay.
That's all. So if you can work together and get that done.
Karen's our new expert, so I'll
Right
let
on.
you. I'll
It was
look
just
at
a
her.
suggestion. It was just a suggestion. That's all, man. Cool. Approach you today on continuing process improvement and just suggesting some different things. The point of view I take is from Major General Smedley Butler. It's been gone almost 100 years. Eisenhower's farewell address. The government theory that Oswald acted alone, that the Gulf of Tonkin incident actually occurred, the USS Liberty incident, familiar with that, and I understand if you're not, because we are all in the footprint of the Kent State shooting. What I'm trying to bring forward here is, Mr. Riddell, I really appreciate what you're doing with trying to solicit the information from the folks on what government's supposed to do. If we can get a definition of what those government functions are. I've seen it from 5 and all the way up to 7. Down at 5 is when you live in the desert because nobody's going to buy water from the government. And if you live in the desert, it's a really disastrous idea. If you can get like the definition of what those 5 functions are, because if not, we're going to end up with a laundry list of 30 things that people within Lorain County think government should be doing, and we're not going to be good at any of them. Instead of being really good at 5 to 7, you get really good at 5 to 7. That'd be the way to look at stuff. Also, chemo treatments, right? They give me the Benadryl, puts me right out, man. Then they give me a bunch of steroids. Then I get the poison after that. So I wake up like 4 hours later, and I'm angry. I got some roid rage going on. Just the way the steroids interact with me, right? So I'm driving home, all angry. But I go to the grocery store in Vermilion, Giant Eagle there, next to Liberty Ford Collision Center, and I routinely see a police car there, and it looks like they're driving with roid rage because the front end's always smashed in, right? And I know that we do blood and alcohol tests and stuff for folks when they get in accidents if they damage equipment or destroy lives. But maybe we could possibly also test for anabolic steroids with the road rage. That's just something that I picked up going through what I'm going through and seeing when I go get some bread and ham from the grocery store. Thanks, appreciate it. You have a good week. I won't see you Friday. I got my next dose, so I'll come back without any eyebrows next time.
Okay. Well, you keep up the fight. Okay. Okay, County Administrator, do you have an update?
Dave Greenspan will start.
Thank you, Commissioners. So, in the spirit of transparency and keeping everyone up to date on the strategic plan, I've put together the following presentation. Make sure if I can, there you go, I figured it out. So you're familiar with this slide. This is the slide I originally presented as far as Future IQ's strategy for dealing with this. So to give you an update, we have completed phase 1 and we're deep into phase 2 and should be entering phase 3 here very shortly, sometime early November. I wanted to give you just a visual, and I don't expect you to really understand, but see this in detail. This is the strategy, the master plan that we're operating under for phases 1 and 2, and you can see off to the right, how deep we are into it. So we're a few blocks over from the far right, but just to give you an overview as to the detail in which we're reviewing and moving through this plan, I wanted to give you just a visual of that. On the next slide is the communication plan, and this too, as you can tell, is very in-depth and covers a number of areas which I'm going to cover here in a little more detail. So give you an update as to where we are on the first 2 phases and what we've already accomplished. So the project plan was agreed to in August. The strategic plan of the web portal was agreed to again late August, and it does include Spanish. And later in this presentation, I'll give you an overview of the portal itself and where we stand and how the public can engage with the county and with the strategic plan. September 5th, we had our Strategic Engagement Committee, which was the first committee meeting was actually established, and then we had the meeting on the 11th. Moving into phase 2, we had a stakeholder listening session, which was conducted with members of the Board of County Commissioners, directors, as well as various elected officials. And that took place on the 5th through the 7th and concluded on the 7th with a Strategic Engagement Committee meeting. As recently as September 25th, running through October 20th, is the first survey, which is now active and is on the website, that is on the portal. That survey is to be hopefully taken by as many residents of Lorain County as would like to take the survey. On the 28th, we did approve the think tank agenda, and I'll explain a little bit in more detail the think tank and what the process is for that, because that's coming up here very soon as well. So where are we now, and what do we have to look forward to in the near future? This kind of takes us to the end of this year. As I mentioned earlier, the survey is live. Survey 1 is live. I say Survey 1 because we anticipate, and I'll announce here later, that Survey 2 will begin in November. What I wanted to draw attention, I mentioned the Commissioner's newsletter. So the newsletter went out, should be hitting mailboxes this week. On the newsletter is a QR code going out to all the residents of the county. What I'd like to do, state here is, and if anybody is listening and those here in the audience, take a look at that QR code or go to the county website and you'll be able to download or link right into the survey. We want to try to encourage as many folks to participate in the survey so we can gain the information we need to move forward through this process. October 4th, tomorrow, the think tank registration will be available on the portal. I think when I take you there, it's available now today. the think tank. Let me explain what that is. So the think tank is going to be a 2-day event that will take place in October. And the purpose of that event primarily is to engage with high-level stakeholders, meaning nonprofits, business leaders, and so forth in the community, to participate, to gain, where Future IQ will come in and conduct this, to gain information to help further develop the advancement of the plan so that we move forward and include the discussion and important topics that are relevant to those organizations. It is open to the public, so I don't want anyone to think the public is not engaged. They are, and they're invited to participate, but the real focus is to engage the high-level the organizations, I should say, at a higher level of discussion. In December, we'll have focus groups, and that's really the engagement for the general public to participate in various seminars. On October 4th, also, there will be an employee survey. And let me back up real quick on the think tank. So with the think tank, and trying to engage as many organizations as possible, this afternoon I sent out an email encouraging the Chamber of Commerce and our Community Development Department to reach out to as many of their contacts as possible to elicit their engagement. On October 4th, tomorrow, I believe, I did send out the email today, there's an employee survey. This process obviously is not only meant for citizens to tell us how we can do a better job, but also for our employees who have direct knowledge and input, how they have been interacting with the community and with the constituents. What can we do better to serve them? So this employee survey has been sent out to all the employees under the Board of County Commissioners, but I also extended to the other elected officials in the county the opportunity for their employees to participate as well. And I hope that they are able and that they will take advantage of that opportunity. That email went out late this afternoon to the other elected officials in the county. On the 11th, we will have our second Strategic Engagement Committee meeting. On the 30th and 31st, I talked about the think tank. That will take place at LCC. Sometime in November, the second survey will go out. And around the 13th of November, we anticipate the think tank report will be published and available on the portal. And then once again, I mentioned the focus groups, which will take place December 11th and 12th. And we're actually looking at adding a third date on the 13th. And on each of those days, it will also include evening sessions. So those who work during the day will be able to participate in the evening. The expectation is we will have those at between 6 and 9 locations in the county. And the reason I say 6 or 9, there are 3 sessions each day on the 11th and 12th, and if we add a third day, that'll take us to 9 meetings. The expectation is we will have them in proximity to as many residents as possible, be within, say, 10 or 15 minutes of their residence. So we really want to include as many folks within the county as possible. I'm showing here some examples of materials that are ready and are available for the public. They're actually on the county's website and on the portal. There are 2 main documents I want to point out. One is the Strategic Plan has launched announcement. You'll see 2 QR codes there. One is to the portal itself, and the other takes you directly to the survey. However, if you go to the portal, you'll see a link to the survey, which is present at the same location. And then the save the date on the think tank, that too has a separate QR code, and those documents are readily available. I would encourage anybody who has contact with organizations that have any membership whatsoever, download these or share these with your organization. Once again, the attempt here is to gain as much support and as much information from the residents of the county as we can. This is the think tank agenda. I don't expect, once again, it may be a little blurry to see, but this just outlines the detail that we are going to in order to be as inclusive and garner as much information as possible. The next page is actually the detail I'm showing you here of part 1 and part 2, which is day 1 and day 2 of the think tank, and what we can expect from those meetings. There are 6 primary pillars of information that we're going to be seeking, and this outlines exactly the detail in the strategic initiative plan outline and goals. The focus groups, I mentioned that very briefly. The focus groups, I'll summarize what is here. The attempt is to outreach to as many individuals within the county as possible to gain their input as we move forward with the strategic plan. So if you notice, I'll just highlight a little bit here. We have a series of engagement opportunities, right? We had the first one where we met with the internal stakeholders and their elected officials to get their feedback and input. We have a survey. We have the think tank. We're going to have a second survey, I said the think tank, and now these focus groups. So the attempt here is, once again, garner as much information as possible. Future IQ is also doing some market study analysis with comparable counties to us to see how they're operating and how we can operate, take their best practices, incorporate it into our plan. What I'll do right now is I'll take you very briefly. This is my second to last slide. The last one is questions. This will launch directly into the project portal. So if you go to the Lorain County website, you will see the strategic plan down here. If you click on additional information, this now launches you right into the portal. And it welcomes you to the portal, gives a brief understanding of what's going on. This also has a direct link right now, because we're engaging in folks in the think tank, to register if you wish to attend the think tank. So I'll just click this on and then I'll come back. Talks about the think tank workshops, gives an explanation as to what they're all about. And then you would click either tab or fill out one and go to the other if you wish to attend both think tank sessions, and I'd encourage everybody to do that that wishes to participate. I'll go back to the home page here. Once again, talks about the think tank. I want to go to the various tabs. I don't think last time we were here I went through this in much detail. But here's an overview of the project. Here are the objectives. I'm not going to read these. I'm just going to point them to you. Just a brief objective as to what we're trying to accomplish. And here's a schedule. And this goes back to the first slide that I showed, that I opened with today, which you're familiar with. This is not the first time that you've been presented this. If you wish to take the survey is here. So you can take the survey in English and Spanish. The website itself, by the way, if you go up to the upper left-hand corner, you see English. The portal itself is available in 5 different languages. So I want to bring that to your attention as well. The survey is in both English and Spanish. And you can take the survey anonymously, as the employee survey can be taken anonymously as well. I believe we've been to the think tank, the resources, and contact us. So that summarizes my report. I want to give you guys, I'm trying to be a little quick in my presentation because I don't want to take up much of your time, but I guess the message I'm trying to portray here is we've been working very hard on this project in order to provide the highest quality services to the citizens of the county, and we're trying to be as inclusive as we can by not only including the employees of the county, the businesses, organizations, nonprofits of the county, the residents of the county, and doing some benchmarking to compare us against other counties so we can be, say it this way, better than the others. So with that, I'll open up to any questions if the commissioners have any.
Did you understand Mike Carlo's question concerning the survey questions?
What was the specific question?
What was that, Mike?
Just the functions of government versus what folks want to see government do. 5 to 7 basic functions of government. Here we will have what? Health, safety, and welfare for the county? There.
Yes.
There. Break that up like that.
Okay, so rephrasing the question was your idea.
Yes, sir, that's all.
Okay.
Well, no, I appreciate that, and that's one of those questions where it has one answer with like 20 parts, right? Because
Right.
government, whether we want to initiate something or the ORC requires us to perform certain functions, that's been a tremendous challenge in general with the lack of civics being taught in our schools. Folks don't understand the difference between a township, city, village, county, state government, federal government, and what each entity provides and what services they're required to perform. So we will be focusing on that and being able to identify those in more clarity. But it's very difficult to put it into three buckets because those buckets have many subparts to them. But we'll do our best. We'll do our best to do that.
And part of that whole process, is to build this plan. That's the primary objective. But Mike, having some of those kinds of open-ended questions is an opportunity for us to find out the misconceptions that people have of county government and try and bring everybody's expectations in line with what it is we do and what it is we don't do.
So I would encourage you to take the survey. There are a lot of open-ended question boxes there. So it's not just yes or no, or click an item. You have an opportunity to participate. Any other questions?
And we hope that all the employees will take the survey. So your department head or elected officials should be forwarding you the link to the employee survey, and so that, we can separate the public responses from the employee responses, and they also can be anonymous.
Correct. And that was by design, so that employees could feel free to voice their pros and cons of how government is operating. The objective there is quite candidly is how can we do our jobs better, and what are we lacking, and what are we doing that we do well, and how can we take advantage of that?
Thank you, Dan.
All right, great. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
So just a couple of things from me. The Mars Board and their partners, Clear Pathways and NORD, were approved and accepted to become a site for the Clear Pathways 988 and 911 interoperability strategy project. That's a mouthful. So basically, it's a pilot study to investigate the effectiveness of a coordinated emergency call center approach. The study will help facilitate the understanding of how 988 and 911 systems can best interface with one another and identify the challenges and opportunities that exist in the collaboration. So there's some planning meetings that are going to be had. Mr. Jeff Young's going to represent the county and Lorain County 911 in those planning meetings, and hopefully at the end of the day come up with a standard operating procedure that will help both agencies, 988 and 911. So those of you who aren't familiar with 988, it is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It offers 24/7 call, text, and chat access to trained crisis counselors who can help people experiencing suicidal, substance abuse, and/or mental health crisis, or any other kind of emotional distress. People can also dial 988 if they are worried about a loved one who may need crisis support. So that was some good news that we received this week. Also, compliments to the clerk for forwarding on to us some additional information from the County Commissioners Association. The state of Ohio has decided that they could increase our threshold for competitive bidding effective October 3rd. So we go from $50,000 to a $75,000 threshold for competitive bidding. They've also changed the law with regards to the acceptance of a bid that's over our estimate. So we go from a 10% to 20%. So now we can accept any bids that's over 20% of the architect's estimate or the engineer's estimate. Guy in the back. They've also eliminated the preferences for products made or mined in the state of Ohio or the United States of America. So those were some tidbit items that I thought the board would be interested in. And that completes my report.
I like to pass on work.
So, to continue on, our healthcare consultant that has been working with the administration over the past several months has given us some preliminary information with regards to possible changes to our healthcare offering to our employees and to all of us that are employees in this room. They are not ready at this point. There's still some questions that we have, and we have posed back to them that we need to get some actuarial information as to what the cost or savings or the cost is going to be actuarially over the next year to 10 years, and then that's what an actuary does. He kind of puts it together and give us that information so that when we can make that presentation to the commissioners and our legal consultant up there as he takes a look at it to make sure that the right decisions are being made. And certainly, we are taking in all the requests by the employees that have been made over the last several months with why do we not cover these things, and we've taken a look at those things, and hopefully they will be, at least those will be addressed, and others will be even more addressed as we upgrade the plan. So last week, changing the subject, last week Karen and I and Andy Leventhal and Jack Hammond and the Hills Group went down Wednesday night, drove down to Cincinnati or to Warren County. We were at Warren County Jail on 9 o'clock in the morning for a jail tour that they were ready to see just exactly. That jail was built, I believe, a year or 2 years ago. So we saw a modern jail system in Warren County, and then we went next to Franklin County that's got a 44,000 square foot jail that they had just completed and not completely moved into, but they're using some of those cells to visit them and get a complete tour of that facility. It certainly gave us an opportunity for Jack and Andy to get to know me. They already knew Karen, but we had 4 or 8 hours in the car, quite honestly, to get to know one another and discuss things. And we certainly appreciate the sheriff to allow them to come with us to see, because quite honestly, they're the ones that are going to be running the jail. I'm as an administrator, I'm not looking forward, nor do I want to run a jail. I don't think that's in my wheelhouse in any way whatsoever. So I look forward to working with them. And we also have the qualifications are in from the 2 architects. The votes are almost all in. If I wasn't so busy today and last night, I probably would have had my vote in, but Karen has not divulged how the votes are. Do you know, are they in sealed envelopes? No? She's not going to tell me. She wants my comments. So we'll do that and get that in and make a recommendation back to the commissioners. That completes this long report this evening. Thank you.
Jeff, since you mentioned the hospitalization and going through it, some of the issues that were raised here at the meetings, some 6-8 weeks ago, the last I heard is that working with our staff in HR, they were able to reclassify and regroup some of those things so that she was able to get some of her stuff covered. I'd like to make sure that in fact did happen, and so that we know that it got taken care of. And then long term, we're looking at the we will be looking, when you get done with it, the scope of the coverage so that we're fair to everybody that's in the plan.
It will, and with Karen, myself, Casey, JR, there's more than one set of eyes on this, and we all are looking at it from different angles because of our skill set that you've got out there and Brad's skill set. But you are correct, there was some help. I'm not sure that she got all of the things done that she wanted to, but you could pick and choose from the list, and you had to get it done individually rather than it was put into a bundle and handed to her. And I believe that was done to help her out in that area. And but it's certainly something that is part of this discussion that we had just the other day.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No. Clerk's report? Right over there? Yes. Proclamation was sent to JBS recognizing and celebrating their 50th anniversary. And then the proclamation will be going to Ridge Tool on October 5th for Manufacturing Day. That you're presenting,
Yeah, I'll
correct?
be gone, yeah.
Board correspondence?
Move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
All right,
Commissioner Hahn?
Yes.
Is there any new business?
Mr. President? Yes, I had a meeting with Dr. Jarmasek last week. and they have some internal issues, and they have a restructuring that they're going through. And we are, as commissioners, we're watching the project to make sure that it advances and qualifies for the money that it was granted. If not, the money will be, it's just a commitment. We've not written a check yet, so. Just want to make that clear for those that are watching.
Anything further?
No. We are adjourned.
Okay. Commissioner Rodell needs to sign these ones.
Oh, you missed them? Okay.
I didn't miss it. You didn't hand it.
Oh.
I don't know what goes on, back and forth, like.
Yeah, you get us with that agreement.
I know, and that's why I put
Stumped us
it,
there for a
that's why I
second.
put it with that, thinking that you guys would know that. Cause I mean, look how, I was, this file, and I was like, well, I'll just give you the paperwork.
Yes, yes, that was the first thing I went over today when I got in was that.
So tomorrow is the 4th, Thursday is, Commissioner Moore, are you gonna,
I'll hand deliver it.
okay, I'm just gonna make a copy tonight.
Oh, you don't have a copy?
I don't have a copy because it wasn't signed yet, so.
Oh, I'm
I'll just-
sorry.
That's okay.
Can, Matt get a copy of that too? We
Yeah.
can just have him make
Yeah.
copies for everybody.
I mean, if he wants to do it real fast.
Hey, Matt, Spears, Teresa
Copy
needs you.
this?
Okay, Vic, we're done.